On January 23rd of this year, Netflix released its newest installment of its spy action thriller, The Night Agent. Following the events of the first season, Peter and Rose are back at it again, looking to protect the governments of the world in this 10-episode season 2. Full of great action, a needed improvement of characters, beautifully presented tension, and that grain of salt realism, today we delve back into the world and break down this season as a whole. Hello and welcome to Television Tuesday, the show where we talk TV on Tuesday and tell you all about it. I'm your host Garrett, and I'm here to bring you another breakdown of today's television. And like I previously mentioned, we're going to be delving down into The Night Agent, so stick with me, and spoilers ahead. I'm going to start off here with a brief summary of events from this season, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on this as a whole. So if you're looking to skip the summary, skip to this time. Episode 1 kicks off with Peter in Bangkok with his new partner hunting down a CIA intel leak. His partner Alice, played by Brittany Snow, gets shot, and Peter goes dark in New York. Meanwhile, Rose is living in Cali, working for a new tech company, and she gets a call from a certain mysterious stranger asking about Peter. In episode 2, Rose tracks down Peter, and with the help of her ad targeting program that she turned into a facial recognition software based off of public cameras. All while Peter's new boss Catherine begins to hunt down Peter amongst a new presidential campaign. The CIA leaker tries to kidnap his own son, who Peter has been coaching basketball to get close to finding him. They track him down to an airport and capture him. Rose, suffering from her PTSD, struggles with the idea of going back to Cali while wanting to stay with Peter after not seeing him for 10 months. The Bangkok group then assassinates the CIA leaker and interacts with Peter, who manages to escape. After a lack of trust between Peter and his handler Catherine, they finally agree to start trusting each other. By episode 4, we get introduced to a new plotline at the Iranian embassy in New York with a girl named Noor who is leaking intel to the CIA to get her family out of Iran. Peter and Rose take over this case and use Noor to infiltrate the embassy and steal leaked CIA intel where they learn about Foxglove, the secret CIA group who made 9 chemical weapons to test and make antidotes for to prepare for future wars. With the help of another night agent and the refusal to give up the information they stole, Noor pushes them to get her family out of Iran. The new night agent gets to the house in Iran, but the brother refuses to leave and tries shooting the agent, who in turn kills Noor's brother, Farhad. Peter and team lie to Noor and tell her that her brother got hurt but was still alive and now in the country. Meanwhile, the third and final plot takes off with Victor and Tomas Bala making secret plans with the Foxglove info that was sold to them in Bangkok. Getting into the back half of the season, Rose gets very upset about the lie to Noor about her brother, while Catherine and Peter try to infiltrate the Bangkok group, who in the process kills a leaker from the French embassy. On the other side of things, Tomas visits his father in prison and learns the real plan to use Foxglove to release as a chemical weapon in New York. By episode 7, Peter and Catherine interrogate Solomon, the number 2 of the Bangkok group. During this, Peter accidentally confirms the existence of night action. Later, Rose goes to meet a chemistry professor who worked on Foxglove, but they are captured by the Bala group. After not leaving to meet with her mom, the ambassador tells Noor of her brother's death, and the Balas begin to steal a bunch of chemicals for the professor and Rose to begin to build the chemical weapon KX. Following this, Peter frees Solomon and agrees to meet with his boss, Jacob. On top of that, Victor gets 15 canisters of KX and kills Tomas for being weak and unfaithful towards his father. In episode 9, Peter has to steal intel from the UN with the help of Noor after Noor tries to set him up for being caught leaking info to Peter and Rose. Peter gives the stolen intel to Jacob, who now basically owns him, but covers up what he did at the UN. Peter helps break out Rose and the professor and his family, and they try to go to the UN to stop the KX from being released. Finally, in the finale, Victor plants 13 of the canisters in the UN building, which the US government forces stop. Victor goes to Tomas's girlfriend's penthouse to release the final canister, but is stopped by Rose and Peter. During this, it should be noted that Catherine gains a random burst of super strength and kills Solomon by kicking him into a pole that pierces through his back, somehow. After Peter kills Victor, he turns himself in, and Rose goes back to Cali. Following the events of the KX attack, Peter is later released and assigned with a new mission outside of even night action, finding out who Jacob is and how to stop him. Meanwhile, Jacob gives the info Peter stole to one of the presidential candidates, who has dirt on the other candidate for selling KX to Bala Sr., who released it on his own people, which is why he went to jail, and the threat of this whole season happened at all. It's all very connected. Jacob now basically runs the government and has access to all information that they have. It also should be noted that the presidential candidate who will win also has Chelsea Errington from season 1 in his detail. So, looking forward to a lot of setup that'll be going on in season 3. Now they're all on the same page following the plot, I want to break down what's going on in season 2. This season was certainly stronger than the first season in overall interest, acting, and was just as good in action and plot. While the first season had weak characters like the couple, Dale and Ellen, and Diane Farr, this season really did a good job of keeping me hooked as I watched the whole season in one day. Oh god, I gotta get out more. Anyway, I like the characters more, and there were less pointless deaths, like his best friend in season 1, where I could not have cared at all that the character died because he just really wasn't introduced that well. I liked the moral conflict a ton, as Farhad's death easily gave us some of the best scenes in this show. It felt almost like Better Call Saul in the way of like tension and deceit. and I really liked it. The way they entangle a plot and weave everything together and make a story that both feels very contained but also bigger than itself is really good. And honestly, I didn't think I would like this show. You may notice that there's no season 1 review on our channel here. Part of that is I just really hadn't heard of the show when it released in March of 2023, but also because when I first started watching this show, I really was not into the first 3 episodes. I thought the characters were making stupid decisions and the dialogue wasn't that great, but I pressed on, and ultimately was really impressed by the end of season 1. So if you're thinking of giving this show a watch, stick it out. I promise it will be worth your time. Even though I wholeheartedly agree with the opinion that some shows aren't good for the first few episodes, and that can be really annoying for viewers who just want to watch a good show. Although I will say, you do still have to suspend some belief of what really could happen, because this show is like a historical fiction, but set in a modern time. Next, I want to break down Rose and Peter a bit before I let you go. Rose in season 1 was scared, and at times very aggressive, and makes a point to let out some of that anger. She wasn't in that trope of, oh, some government agent who gets caught up and does 1 or 2 helpful things and some gags that moves the plot forward. She genuinely knew her limits, and became such a relatable human with her aggression and some of the just scenarios that she was put in, how she reacted with them. And this flipped in season 2, from her PTSD from the events of season 1. And while she was trying to cope with everything that was going on around her again, it made her so much more timid and imprecise, while still holding true to who her character is and her stubborn nature. Peter, on the other hand, makes me feel like I'm watching a superhero show. But like, a good one, like Daredevil or early Arrow. He feels like if you mix Superboy and Red Hood and put them into that Nightwing Spiral story arc. It really made me like him. Also, Big Jimmy. If you're looking, I hear old Gabriel Basso is a quick learner. This brings me to my final point. The badass action. The way Peter fights in this show is less like super spy and more like strong dude who got into a bar fight and knew a little something, because he honestly struggles a lot in his fights, to the point that Catherine even calls him out for not being ready for field work. Mostly because of his mental state, but also because he really hasn't been in the field a ton. He's more of a desk guy, especially for the year in the basement before the events of season 1. But the way he uses his surroundings, like when he's hit, he's like just bam, taking hits and then smashes a car window mirror at the side of your head. I mean, this dude fights like Arkham Batman, and whenever he gets a big enough streak, he does an environment takedown. It is so cool, and it's all shot super incredibly throughout both seasons of the show, and it is absolutely one of the highlights of this show as a whole. Overall, if you're looking for a good watch and even a little bit of a thrill, this is a great choice amongst Netflix's catalog. And while it has its issues, especially in the beginning of the first season, it's a show that grows on you and really makes you love it. Well, anyway, thanks again for watching our little show, Television Tuesday, here at Studio 24. While you're here, you should check out some of our other stuff we got. We have this show, our sister show, Studio Cinema Saturday, with our next upload here being Companion, so stay tuned for that. We also have our newest show, where when a film turns 21, we buy it a drink. And finally, our short films, because we are filmmakers here at Studio 24. It's what we love to do, and we would absolutely love it if you would take time to give them a watch. And we'll see you there.